Hello friends, this is Roxanne, and today, I'm going to recap the 19th episode of the anime called Spy X Family. Spoilers ahead, watch out, and take care. George Gloman's father, the president of Gloman Pharmaceuticals, is speaking to his secretary. He tells him that as of the 10th of next month he will no longer be president of the company. The secretary mentions the Desmond group, but the president cuts him off and tells him that the company was in dire straits financially. And he's not sure how he'll tell his son that the company will cease to exist in a month. A month later, the students of Eden Academy are cleaning the school grounds. Becky Blackbell comments to Anya Forger how calm things are now that midterms are over. Anya says that Loid Forger is probably more relaxed since she dodged getting a tinnitus bolt, which makes Becky ask whether he's strict or gets angry. Anya tells her he's a monster, and Becky sympathizes with having parents with high expectations but also finds the idea of monster Loid kind of hot. Their conversation is interrupted however by Damian Desmond, who does a move he calls Desmond-style rolling sweep, which flings a bunch of dirt into Anya and Becky's faces, causing them to cough. Emil Elman and Ewan Egeberg both compliment Damian on his cleaning skills. A bunch of other students also surround him and shower him with compliments and ask about having a study group with him before the next exam. Becky annoyedly looks at Damian and complains about how obnoxious he is, but Anya instead says that she wants to go to Damian's study group as well. Becky pauses for a moment, then comments that she forgot Anya had a thing for Damian, which makes Anya wonder what this thing is. As they're talking, Anya overhears the thoughts of George saying how he'll never forgive you while looking at Damian. George gives Damian the dustpan. Anya asks Becky who that is, and Becky tells her it's George from their class. George questions how Damian was able to get a Stella Star despite having had his butler hire a spy to change Damian's test scores to make him fail. Anya is shocked to learn that the person who hired Daybreak was one of her classmates. Becky asks Anya if she likes Damian, but Anya ignores the question and tells Becky she wants to know more about George. Becky is shocked, believing that Anya will just fall for any guy, and tells her that she should stay away from George because of how gloomy he is. George pulls himself together and tells himself that he can still get Damian expelled. He pulls out a cigarette but from his jacket and pretends to pick it up from the ground by Damian. He accuses Damian of smoking and calls a teacher over to get him in trouble. Damian grabs George's shoulder and tells him to stop. But George throws himself to the ground to make it look like Damian attacked him. The teacher comes over and asks what happened. George explains to the teacher that he found a cigarette butt on the ground, and after calling a teacher over, Damian punched him. The teacher asks if this is true and asks Damian for an explanation if it is. Emil and Ewan insist that it's a lie, but the teacher doesn't trust them because he knows how close they are to Damian. Anya then comes to Damian's defense and tells the teacher what really happened. The teacher, feeling a little scared of Anya, leaves and tells the students not to call him over for nonsense again. Damian blushes and Becky squeals, believing this was some romantic moment between Anya and Damian. Becky tells Anya that Damian probably knows exactly how she feels now, but Anya is still confused. Damian and George both question Anya on why they helped Damian. Damian then turns and asks George why he's trying to get him in trouble, and he tells Damian that his whole life is over. George tells them that as of today his company is bankrupt, and Damian asks what that has to do with him. George tells him that it was Damian's family's company that drove his father's company out of business. And Ewan tells them he recalls seeing on the news something regarding the Desmond Group and Gloman Pharmaceuticals. George believed that if Damian had gotten expelled, his family would be too distracted to mess with Gloman Pharmaceuticals. Damian yells at him, telling him that there was no way his father's company drove the Gloman's company out of business. And Becky agrees, saying George went too far. George concedes but tells them that it doesn't make the fact that he'll have to leave school any better. Damian questions this and George tells him that his family will be out on the street tomorrow. George tells Damian that he envies him as Damian and his family are nothing like the trash he is. Emil and Ewan tell George that Damian's family has nothing to do with his success and that he earned his Stella Star. George bursts into tears and cries about how he wanted to spend springtime at school, and then starts picking up trash while calling himself trash. Damian offers George a juice, which at first George glares at him for doing but then accepts the offer. After finishing the juice, he tells them he never got to order the deluxe caviar bowl at the cafeteria and he'll regret leaving school without having eaten it. After Damian gets George the bowl, George comments that he always wanted to know what it feels like to wear a Stella Star, so Damian lets him wear his Stella Star. George is about to give another request but Emil stops him. and tells him he's pushing his luck, which leads George to start talking about how sad his life is going to be from now on. Anya tries to cheer him up by telling him it'll be okay and that Westalis is a peaceful country. George is shocked by how little Anya knows of Westalis's geopolitical situation, but also is happy about all his classmates being so nice to him. George bursts into tears and asks for one last thing, to sing the school chorus together with them. Becky is the first to start singing, and then eventually everyone from Cecile Hall except Anya starts singing the chorus together. After they finish, Damian gives George his favorite set of stationery. After that, several other students start giving gifts to George. The students wish George a farewell and tell him that he'll always be a part of Cecile Hall. After getting home, Anya tells Loid and Anya Forger about George and what happened today. Loid wonders though how Gloman Pharmaceuticals being bought out is the same as them going bankrupt. After George arrives home, his father tells him that the Desmond Group saved their company, but that also meant he would no longer be president of the company. George asks if that means he can still go to school, to which his father tells him of course and asks if he did his homework. After coming to school the next day, Becky tells him he'll have to return everything. Damian tells him he'll have to pay for the juice, and Anya pats his shoulder. Loid wakes Anya up early for school, but she goes back to sleep right after. Anya ends up oversleeping, and she rushes to get ready. Loid tells her that if she is late or forgets something, she will get punished and reminds her about getting Tontirus bolts. Anya makes it in time for her bus, and Loid leaves for work afterward. Azure has her shift at noon. She stays at home to do housework. Yor passes by Anya's room and sees her PE uniform still on her desk. Yor realizes Anya forgot this and imagines her getting expelled from Eden Academy and becoming a delinquent. Wanting to avoid this, Yor decides to bring the PE clothes to Anya. Putting them in a bag, Yor rushes outside, then wonders which way is faster to the school. While she wonders what to do, a flower pot falls down a window. Yor spots this and kicks it back to where it was. Then, she sees an empty alleyway and decides to get to the school via parkour. Yor arrives at Eden and wonders where to find Anya's class. After remembering Loid's warning, Yor realizes she must keep this a secret and decides to look for Anya herself. Suddenly some students walk by, and Yor quickly jumps to the school walls and scales them. Meanwhile, in a classroom, two students discuss a rumor of a mysterious spider woman climbing their walls. As one of the boys dismisses it, he sees the ghastly image of Yor at their window, looking for Anya, and he shrieks in terror. Yor realizes it is not a good idea to stand out. So she jumps down and paces around the school grounds, wondering what she could do to find Anya. She proposes disguising herself as a teacher, but she changes her mind after imagining herself getting overrun by students asking for help with homework. Yor passes by the school farm and the animals from the entrance exam. The head cow recognizes Yor and bows to her. However, it accidentally steps on the tail of a pig, which causes a chain reaction of chaos within the animals. While Yor runs away from the scene, Loid spots her from the school rooftops. He initially assumes that Yor knew he was faking going to work and had followed him, but notices the bag she is holding. Yor eventually finds Anya and gives her the PE uniform, but to her shock, Anya tells her that she does not have PE today. As Yor leaves the school, Loid catches up with her. Yor is surprised to see him here, and he makes an excuse that he just made a house call to a home care patient, then asks what Yor is doing here. She explains how Anya forgot her things, and Loid thanks her. However, Yor laments not being of any help to Anya and not figuring out her schedule, calling herself a failure as a mother. Loid denies this, worried that this will jeopardize his mission. He invites Yor for lunch before he goes to work, which she happily accepts. And this brings the anime to an end. Comment for part 10. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on another video. Until next time, take care.